Happy New Year, everyone. Now I know it's end of January, at least by the time that I'm recording this video, but this video is very special because I want to start my YouTube of 2026 by looking back what it was 2025. So this is a different video. This video is all about the highlights, the perfume highlights of 2025, and these are the fragrance awards of 2025. Hello everyone, I'm Julien and welcome back to my channel, Scented Moments, where we discuss everything about perfumes. Now, I was a bit absent over the last 3 weeks or so, just because it was quite busy for me personally. I changed a job and I was traveling a bit back and forth, so I really did not have time to record. However, I was still very active fragrance-wise, and I still was purchasing quite a few fragrances. Definitely stay tuned for my upcoming fragrance haul. Some of them I really wanted to add for a very long time, absolute masterpieces, but again, that will be for another video. And I just decided to start my 2026 YouTube-wise by looking back, as I said in the intro, what it was 2025 perfume-wise, the highlights of what was good and what was bad. So this video here, I have 10 categories, and each category I have 3 nominees. Now, of course, I haven't tried all releases from last year. That was literally impossible because every year it's released, that like brands release thousands and thousands of perfumes. So in the end, it's absolutely impossible to try every single new perfume, but I tried quite a few from at least the most mainstream brands, both designer and niche, and also quite a few more underrated fragrances. So again, I have here 10 categories, each category 3 nominees, and the categories are as follows. First category is the most innovative composition of 2025. The second category is the best performance fragrance of 2025, although here it's not about a fragrance that was released in 2025. This was just my experience, a fragrance from my collection that had the best performance last year. So the third category, we have the best packaging of 2025. In the fourth category, we have the best value for money from 2025, and these are new releases, just about new releases. In the fifth category, we have the most underrated fragrance of 2025. Here again, also just about new releases, so the fragrances that were released last year. And number 6 is the most complimented fragrance of 2025. Now here, it's not about what was released last year. It was really just personal, on a personal level, what were the fragrances that were the most complimented from last year. And the 7th category is about the worst fragrance release of 2025. The 8th category, we have the best fragrance release of 2025. In the 9th category, we have the worst fragrance brand of 2025. And finally, last but definitely not least, we have fragrance brand of the year. Now, the first category is the most innovative fragrance of 2025. So what I mean by this is basically I want to highlight fragrances that either challenged a scent structure or used notes unconventionally, or just use a very brand new note or raw material, or extracted that raw material in a different way and use it in a different way, or just simply captured a very abstract concept. So we have here 3 nominees. Now the first nominee is from the house of Les Indemodables. This one is Vanille Van Cuir des Abysses. Now Cuir des Abysses is here for its innovation and for its use of a Russian leather ultrasound extract. This Russian leather material was thought lost and revived after rolls were found in a 1786 shipwreck. Les Indemodables use an ultrasonic extraction, a true first in perfumery, which employs high-frequency sound waves to capture the pure, authentic scent of a dense material like leather, which would seem to be impossible to extract in its raw form. Now, the second nominee, actually, this is not a single fragrance, it's a whole new line. More specifically, 3 new fragrances that were released by Thomas de Monaco, and this new line called Flowers for Future, composed by Jade d'Amour, Fleur d'Angers, and New Eden. Each of these fragrances were created by different parfumeurs, up-and-coming parfumeurs, in fact. And according to the brand, these 3 fragrances represent the vision of a new garden, where molecules grow what nature has not yet imagined. This is only reinvention, not nostalgia. 3 parfumeurs of tomorrow have shaped this collection, raw, surprising, alive. A contemporary approach to niche written in the poetry of expectations. And last but by no means least, the 3rd nominee for the most innovative fragrance of 2025, this time from the house of Stefan Humbert Lucas, and it is Queen and the Viper. This fragrance is full of contrasts and incredibly unique. It opens with a crisp spearmint and bright bergamot, which slowly melts into a rich, deep base of dates, tobacco, and saffron. It's a refined blend that moves confidently from cool freshness to sensual warmth. Now, the winner is Thomas de Monaco, the brand new line Flowers for Future. I am a massive fan of that line. The minute I tried that line, specifically Fleur d'Angers, I immediately bought a bottle. I just needed to have it. It has this metallic, crisp, mineralic incense fragrance, and it also captures a very warm, spicy facet into it. It's a very unique composition in my view, and also so is the other 2 actually. I want to add also Jade d'Amour, which is a more warm tobacco, yellow floral fragrance. I also do appreciate New Eden, which it has this like frosted peach, dry frosted peach with tuberose. It's just fantastic, but I just think that New Eden is a bit too feminine to me. But the 3 of them are fantastic. So for me, Thomas de Monaco in this new collection, Flowers for Future, definitely deserve the most innovative perfumes of 2025. Now, the second category is the best performance fragrance of 2025. Now, any of these are new releases. These are fragrances that I had for my collection, and these are some of my most worn fragrances. And these 3 are the ones that really perform the best throughout the year. So the first nominee is from House of Profumum Roma, Gioiosa. Now, Gioiosa is a sexy, delicious, caramelized, ambery, milky vanilla that lasts all day and night. Now, in the second nominee, we have a fragrance from House of Amouage, Jubilation 40. Now, Jubilation 40, for me, it's royalty in a bottle. If Jubilation 25 was already a masterpiece, Jubilation 40, being an extrait version, elevated that masterpiece level. A rich, juicy blackberry with frankincense, with amber, honey, a bit of oud, and it's just brilliant, and its longevity, actually, it's fantastic. Now, the third and final nominee of this category is Maison Crivelli Oud Maracuja. Known for its tart, bright passion fruit, is contrasted with a heavy, resinous, sweet, woody notes, and the result is a vibrant yet mysterious scent that simply refuses to quit. It's renowned for its all-day sillage. And the winner is Profumum Roma Gioiosa. Gioiosa is a fragrance that lasts all day, all night. It not only lasts, but also projects a lot. I mean, for the first couple hours, you can really fill a room if you overspray. So I would warn you to maybe go a bit easy on the trigger. But if you are a vanilla lover, as I am, Gioiosa from Profumum Roma is a fragrance that you need to try at least once. It's just one of my favorite vanilla fragrances out there, and definitely one of my favorite perfumes from Profumum Roma. Gioiosa, that vanilla, it's so sexy, so sensual, intoxicating, just brilliant. Now next, we have the best packaging of 2025. Now, these are fragrances that I try. I just actually, out of these three, I just tried one perfume, but this is not about the scent. This is just about the presentation. And all of these three were in fact released last year. Now, of course, this is for the most aesthetically pleasing, for the packaging that gives the most luxury feel, or that really manages to have this amazing minimalist style. And so we have here three nominees. The first one being from the house of Xerjoff, and it's P18. Now, when it comes to pure visual impact, Xerjoff continues to lead the way with P18 from their sketchbook collection. This isn't just a bottle, this is a statement piece. The flacon is literally encased in sculptural barbed wire finish in polished gold, which perfectly captures that duality of danger and desire. It feels heavy, it feels expensive, and it perfectly mirrors the magnetic rose and oak moss chypre inside its bottle. And the second nominee this time is from the house of Guerlain, of course, and it is Guerlain L'Or Doré. This is a limited edition with only 2,095 pieces worldwide, and honestly, calling it a bottle feels like an understatement. They took the legendary B bottle and completely transformed it. It's draped in this deep purple velvet cape inspired by the intricate muqarnas architecture found in the domes of Arabian palaces. The level of detail here is insane, really. We are talking about thousands of gold sequins and mother of pearls beads, and honestly, this is next level luxury that most brands can only dream of achieving. And the third and final nominee here, it's from House of Dries Van Noten, and it is Havana Gold. True to the brand style of impossible combinations, this bottle is a perfect visual match for the scent. It features an amber tinted glass, and it's the first Dries Van Noten fragrance to feature a sculptural base designed to develop a natural patina over time. And the winner of the best packaging of 2025, in my view, it is Guerlain's L'Or Doré. From their very exclusive, exceptional Rendezvous line. Unfortunately, this is no longer available. It was sold out, and I would love to try it. Now, I already see that from some reviews that this is more or less a rosewood fragrance, but for me, it's really more about the bottle than even the scent itself. This perfume, Guerlain's L'Or Doré, definitely deserves this award. Now, the fourth category is the best value for money fragrance from 2025. Now, of course, these are three new releases, so these were released last year, and these are for fragrances that offer a high-end experience with a very affordable price, which nowadays is getting harder and harder. We all know that fragrances are very expensive and the prices really skyrocketed, especially since 2020. But still, there are a few fragrances that are definitely worth the money. And the first one here is, again, from the house of Guerlain, and is Guerlain's Shalimar L'Essence. And in the 90 ml, the retail cost is 158 euros, but you can get it on discounters for 100 euros. And I think it's a fantastic bang for a buck. You still have the Guerlain quality in there, and to me, that's a modern take on Shalimar DNA. And they just added this vanilla from Spiritueuse Double Vanille. So we have this vanilla from Spiritueuse, this boozy, chocolatey almost vanilla with the Shalimar DNA. Less toning down the animalic qualities. I think it's a fantastic perfume and definitely deserves to be in this category. Now, the second fragrance here from House of Hermès, and it is Terre d'Hermès Eau de Parfum Intense. Now, this retails for 142 euros for 100 ml, but you can find it easily on discounters for 98 euros for 100 ml. I absolutely loved this release, one of the best fragrances from Christine Nagel at Hermès, especially for this line. I love the Eau Givre, which is a more fresh take on the Terre d'Hermès DNA, but This Eau de Parfum Intense adds licorice to this bitter orange vetiver DNA, and I think it works wonderfully. I am really in love with that scent. It was love at first sniff. High quality perfume, as you would expect from Hermes, so definitely check it one out if you have yet to. And last but definitely not least, also quite underrated, although its original fragrance was quite hyped, I would say, back in the day. And this is from Mercedes, or Mercedes. And this is the Mercedes Club Black Eau de Parfum. Now we have the Eau de Toilette, and the Eau de Toilette is one that has, or at least it had a lot of attention because it was kind of similar to Spiritueuse de Bleu Vanille by Guerlain at a very, very fraction of the price. And in the Eau de Parfum, they kind of made that perfume a bit more resinous, a bit more ambery, I would say even a bit more serious. And I think it's well done. And the retail is just outrageous. It's 110 euros for 100 ml, but you can find it online between 60 to 40 euros for 100 ml. I mean, it's unbeatable, the quality for the money. However, in terms of winner here, this for me was extremely hard because, of course, if we are looking just from a money perspective, of course, Mercedes Club Black Eau de Parfum wins. But if you look at from a quality, a really high quality perspective, Shalimar L'Essence wins. So to me, I will say Guerlain Shalimar L'Essence is the winner for the best bang for your buck, the best value for money fragrance of 2025, because ultimately you are getting Guerlain quality for 100 euros for 90 ml. Now, not the best, again, not the best price per ml, but considering the quality of the fragrance, what you get really, it's really fantastic. So for me, it's Shalimar L'Essence, but I totally understand who would choose Mercedes Club Black Eau de Parfum. Now, for the most underrated fragrance of 2025, these are hidden gems that were released last year that didn't got any attention whatsoever, but I just adore them, and these are from brands that I highly respect. So, the three nominees here. The first one is from the house of Rania J, and it is Samarkand. Now, if you're familiarized with Rania J, you know that she's a master of woods and resins. But this 2025 release shows a more soft, luminous side of her craft, yet not less intense. It kicks off with a beautiful sunny burst of sweet orange and bergamot, but it doesn't stay fresh for long. Actually quickly evolves into this sophisticated fruity floral heart where osmanthus and blackcurrant take center stage, giving it a velvety, almost leathery texture, fruity leathery texture. But the real magic here is in the dry down because it settles into a warm, addictive blend of caramel, amber, oud, and tonka bean. Overall, it's this ambery, slightly gourmand, slightly fruity, incredibly cozy perfume. Now, the second nominee is from Soradora, Lubu. Now, Lubu is named after the legendary warrior. This fragrance is a masterclass in contrasts. It opens with a sharp, aggressive spark. Think of gunpowder, cloves, and a cold metallic flash that honestly feels like a sword cutting through the air. As it sits on the skin, the armor falls off, and it transforms into this incredibly smooth, nutty sweetness driven by almond, tonka bean, and this black vanilla note. It's powdery, thanks to the iris, but yet remains smoky and woody. This fragrance is a wonderful contrast of this more challenging, metallic, cold, bloody notes with this gourmand qualities in the base. It's wonderful, really, really deserves more attention than actually has gotten at least yet. And last but definitely not least, from the house of Pure Distance, I absolutely love Pure Distance. I have nothing but respect to the brand, high quality ingredients, and in fact, in terms of pricing, just so you know, Pure Distance, at least to the day that I'm recording this video, they never increased the price since at least 9 years. It says a lot, actually, and the quality of the perfumes is fantastic. Yes, they do have a more classic DNA, but they deserve all the respect, from me at least. And the fragrance that Pure Distance released last year, and it's incredibly underrated, yet so good, is Isayo. Now, this was created by Antoine Lee, and this fragrance is a stunning tribute to the powerhouse scents of the 70s, but with a modern, more polished soul. It opens with a bold green bitter punch of galbanum and artemisia with a sharp touch of saffron. It feels incredibly sophisticated from the first spray, and as it develops, you get this unique herbal heart of thyme and celery. The dry down is where Isayo truly shines. It's a masculine leaning blend of earthy Asian vetiver, rugged leather, and patchouli. I absolutely love this fragrance, and actually I do have a full bottle of a 100 ml bottle of it, and I'm so happy to have it. And the winner is Pure Distance Isayo. I just adore that fragrance. It was love at first sniff. You know, that for me kind of reminded me a bit of Cartier, the musty Cartier Parfum that was released for women's back in the 80s, and I love that perfume actually. And Isayo kind of reminds me of that, but more dry, more rugged, more leathery, and it's just so good. Definitely another stunning creation from Antoine Lee. Now we are going to the sixth category, and this time the most complimented fragrances of 2025. Now this is the reason why I didn't do like a most complimented video last year, by the end of last year, like I usually did, because I just really already had this idea of making this sort of fragrance award type of video, and I wanted to include this category. Just wanted to make things a bit more interesting, a bit more different. And in fact, these three are my top three most complimented fragrances, although there's one that it's the most complimented fragrance. But before revealing the winner, let's then start off with the first nominee, again from Profumo Broma, Gioiosa. Gioiosa is, again, like I said before, it's just addicting, cozy yet sexy vanilla, caramelized milky vanilla that everyone should try at least once. It's for me the best vanilla from Profumo Broma, and definitely one of the best recent perfumes from Profumo Broma, which unfortunately, and if you're following me for a while, you know that Profumo Broma is my favorite perfume brand of all time, but lately they have been a bit hit and miss. And actually, I tried already their latest release called Auriga, which they released also in 2025, end of 2025, and for first impressions, I wasn't impressed. It's basically a patchouli fragrance, which they already have. I mean, patchouli, Profumo Broma has, the name is called patchouli. It's for me the best patchouli ever made. They also have Tundra, which is the musky patchouli fragrance done to perfection, actually. And so why they have the need to have another patchouli forward scent? And again, as first impressions, is not as good as the previous two that I mentioned, but well, again, it was first impressions. I definitely will revisit it, and I will take more time with it, but for now, I wasn't impressed. Nonetheless, coming back to Gioiosa, just a stunning vanilla fragrance, and actually one of my fiance's favorite fragrances in my entire collection. And the second fragrance that I have here is from the house of Clive Christian, Town and Country. Now, this Town & Country is part of the Crown collection, and it's arguably one of the most versatile and sophisticated releases that the house has released in recent years. It opens with an incredibly high-quality, sparkling burst of lemon and bergamot, mixed with a very natural, herbaceous clary sage. The dry down, though, is where really the magic happens. A robust masculine base of cedarwood, patchouli, and ambergris that creates really a monstrous scent trail. This fragrance is so versatile, you really cannot go wrong, and you will smell so posh, so sophisticated. Really one of the best from Clive Christian in my view. And last but definitely not least, we have the high beast Louis Vuitton Imagination. Now, Imagination opens with the smooth, high-quality burst of Calabrian bergamot and orange, but what makes it legendary is the heart, because it features a stunning Chinese black tea note mixed with ginger and cinnamon, giving it a spicy, sophisticated edge that keeps it from being just a fresh soap scent. The dry down is fueled by a massive dose of Ambrox, though, which provides a laundry clean, soapy vibe that lasts for ages. Is it overhyped? Maybe. Is it expensive? Absolutely. But ultimately, yeah, it's the ultimate easy reach fragrance, and it's a massive compliment getter. And with this being said, the winner is Louis Vuitton Imagination. Yes, it was my most complimented fragrance, and it was not even close. My fiance, like all my family members, loved Imagination. Friends complimented me as well while I was wearing Imagination. I mean, literally, I was also stunned. I was shocked by the scenes of it, but in fact, it's my most complimented fragrance of 2025, Louis Vuitton Imagination. Now let's talk about the bad side, the dark side of 2025. The worst releases of 2025, and there were a few of them, but there are three that unfortunately stand out the most. And the first one is from the house of Rojadov, and it is Elysium Noir. And while the original Elysium has a massive following, Noir feels like a complete departure from the brand's luxury DNA, or so-called luxury DNA. Instead of high-end citruses, we get what many called, and I also call, like a generic synthetic blue fragrance that smells more like a designer shower gel than a 350 euros fragrance. It's heavy on ambroxan and lavender, which draws comparison with Y, Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent, or even Versace's Dylan Blue. For a house that usually defines birchish luxury, Noir, Elysium Noir feels like a slap in the face to the fans and to those who love perfume, offering a very screechy, unoriginal scent profile with a very quiet sealage. It's not necessarily a bad smell, but at this price tag, it's arguably the most boring and overpriced release Roja has ever put out. And next, we have a fragrance from the house of Christian Dior, Bois Talisman, from the Dior Privé line. And this was created by Francis Courtin, who is the in-house parfumeur at Dior. And this scent isn't being hated just for the smell, and I don't hate it for the smell, but it's really for the complete lack of originality. Because to put it bluntly, this is essentially a 400 euros dupe of Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace. You get the same cherry woods, vanilla, sugar profile, but it's just presented in a more luxurious, expensive bottle. And quite honestly, from Dior, I could have also mentioned Bois d'Argent Esprit. Literally didn't do nothing for me. I much prefer the original, although I would love to have a more vintage formulation of Bois d'Argent. And let's not forget that Dior reformulated Dior Homme Parfum, the masterpiece Dior Homme Parfum. Now we have the 2025 version of Dior Homme Parfum, which is just a mess. You can compare it with even Le Male Elixir or Ultramal. I mean, just a devastation. They literally butchered the entire Dior Homme line. And so, yeah, it's just, Dior is right now a complete mess. And the last fragrance here in this category for the worst fragrance release of 2025, we have a fragrance from the house of Xerjoff. And I love Xerjoff. I'm a Xerjoff fanboy, I admit. I have over 30 perfumes from Xerjoff, but they don't always hit the mark. And honestly, more and more as the years go by and the more releases they do with every year, it seems like every year they are coming up with several different releases, which is a bit overwhelming. But this fragrance specifically for me was such a letdown. And it's Neo Rio, or Rio. And this is a collaboration with Duran Duran that, for me, unfortunately, prioritized marketing over the actual scent. And despite being launched in a vibrant, happy colors, the scent is a heavy, sweet, spicy fragrance that smells like a mix of burned milk and a sticky licorice. The opening has some interesting spicy touches, in fact, because it hints of a caramelized fig and rum, but quickly falls apart into a plain, resinous, generic base. With a steep price of 315 euros for just 50 ml, it's quite uninspiring, it's linear, and honestly, a bit of a mess. And so the winner is, or the unfortunate winner, is to me Roger Dov's Elysium Noir. It's so bad. It literally smells like YSL Eau de Parfum, which costs a fraction of the price. And it's that fragrance itself, it's also a mess to me. I just don't like it. So to have a brand like Roja releasing a perfume like this, it's almost insulting, especially for that price tag. So for me, definitely Elysium Noir, just a mess. I love the original Elysium, and both the Parfum Cologne and also the Parfum, but the Elysium Noir, no, it was a huge miss to me. But now, on the good side of things, the next category is the best fragrance release of 2025. And here we have three great perfumes that were released in 2025. Many others I could have mentioned, in fact, but these three really stand out the most. The first one, again from the house of Les Indomptables, but this time Immortel Solaire. Immortel Solaire, I mean, if you're a fan of Everlasting Flower, so the Immortel, this is a masterpiece created by, again, Antoine Lee. And this fragrance opens with a spicy, dry, slightly smoky quality, but it has this addictive honey sweetness underneath, almost like maple syrup mixed with hazelnut and patchouli. It's warm, hazy, and incredibly evocative. This is a 10 out of 10. The next fragrance, it's for me the best mainstream designer fragrance that was released in 2025 from the house of Cartier, Déclaration Eau de Parfum. This is a smokier and a bit sharper than the EDT and less spicy on the cumin, less heavy on the cumin, and it has this ginger and cinnamon coming through with incredible clarity. It still retains that herbal spicy DNA we all know from the original Déclaration, but it feels more interesting because it has this blend of this smoked black tea and cardamom that it's just to die for. If you want to design a fragrance that smells like a high-end niche, Cartier Déclaration de Parfum really delivered this year. I mean, fantastic scent. I had over heels over that one, which was Love at First Sniff. So this definitely deserves to be in this category as the best, one of the best fragrances released in 2025. And last but by no means least, we have a fragrance from the house of Andy Tower. And this is L'Air du Désert Marocain Noir Elixir. Now, this, I have mixed feelings about this fragrance because it's basically a flanker of L'Air du Désert Marocain. And in fact, we already have an extrait called Au Cœur du Désert, although it's not exactly a traditional extrait version. It's more of a second chapter of L'Air du Désert Marocain. It's a more heavy, dense perfume, which I love. Two absolute masterpieces from Andy Tower. The L'Air du Désert Marocain Noir Elixir feels more of a flanker, feels more of a parfum concentration of L'Air du Désert Marocain, the original. Nonetheless, it's spectacular, really. In this elixir concentration, it's dense, it's more dense, and it's more tenacious than ever before. And while it keeps that unmistakable Tower Oud base of resins and spices, the Noir version introduces a rough dark leather and a fresh herbal blast that makes it feel colder and more mysterious. It has a fantastic longevity, and it's a robust, more masculine-leaning fragrance that still proves to me that Andy Tower is still the king of independent perfumery. And the winner is Immortel Solaire by Les Indomptables. The best release of last year for me, hands down. It's super original. high quality in terms of blended materials. I mean, Les Inovative for me, it's one of the best niche brands out there at the moment because they just use the finest raw materials out there, and they have Antoine Lee, which is a parfumeur that I absolutely admire, and they did a stunning job with Immortel Solaire. For me, completely deserved the price, let's say, of the best fragrance release of in 2025. It's Immortel Solaire. And now we'll go for the worst brand of 2025. Also, not an ideal category to be featured here, but well, it is what it is. And I mean, if you paid attention to the category that we spoke about the worst fragrance releases of 2025, it's no surprise that the same brands are also here. So the first one is Rojedov, the second is Xerjoff, and the third is Christian Dior. Now for me, Roja, it's literally because of that Elysium Noir. It's just a really, really bad perfume. Again, not because it smells bad per se, but just because it feels incredibly cheap. And Xerjoff, not only for New Rio, but really because they released, 8, 9 fragrances in 2025. Insane amount of perfumes to be released in a single year. And none of them impressed me. None of them. In fact, the best fragrances, I would say, the best fragrances that Xerjoff released last year are those 3 perfumes from the Sketchbook collection, which I included P18 in the best presentation awards. And quite honestly, it's still incredibly overpriced because those 3 fragrances cost over 1,000 euros for 100 ml. We're talking about between 1,200 to 1,400, 300. Absolutely insane. And in fact, scent-wise, they are definitely good, but by no means over 1,000 euros good. It's not. That should be like a standard, a regular release from Xerjoff. And if that would be the case, Xerjoff actually would be in the best brands of the year. But I mean, they're more, let's call it regular fragrances, just uninspiring, not really catching my nose at all. I mean, literally, I have high expectation for Xerjoff, but as the years pass, more and more, I feel more and more let down and more disappointed. So for me, 9 fragrances that you release and none of them calls my attention. None of them I say full bottle worthy. I mean, yes. And then on top of that, you released 3 fragrances that cost over 1,000 euros, which clearly it's because of the presentation, not because of the fragrance inside. Even though the fragrance inside actually, it's kind of the best things that you did last year. I mean, it's a shame really, but well, it's here, Xerjoff, and of course Dior because of what I explained before. I mean, Bois Talisman, terrible fragrance. Bois d'Argent Esprit, also very forgettable. For me, I get just this generic resinous base, really. It seems that I go straight to the base and doesn't really say anything to me, doesn't make me feel really anything. The original is the masterpiece, Bois d'Argent, but the Esprit, it's really forgettable to me, at least, and especially again at that price tag. And then we have, of course, the reformulation of Dior Homme Parfum. And it seems that they also reformulated Dior Homme Intense late last year as well. So, I mean, more than well-deserved to be here. And in fact, the winner is Christian Dior. And last but definitely not least, we need to finish with a gold key by revealing the fragrance brand of the year. The best brand. What was the brand that really stand out the most? To me, we have 3. Les Indemodables because of Immortel Solaire, and also Vanille Van Coeur des Abysses. I think it's a stunning perfume, although it's a flanker. It's another flanker to Vanille Van. On 2024, we had the Coeur de Wood, which I have and absolutely love. I think to this day I do prefer a bit more Coeur de Oud to Coeur des Abysses, but nonetheless I love Coeur des Abysses. It's literally this smoky dark leather that is added up to the Vanilla Von DNA. It's fantastic, although extremely overpriced. And then we have Thomas & Monaco. Thomas & Monaco brand, by releasing those 3 new fragrances, extremely unique. For me, that's innovation. That's being creative, and that's something that I scream and ask out of niche fragrances. Yes, you can call them overpriced nonetheless, but for me, at least I get something more unique. Definitely deserves to be one of the fragrance brands of the year. And last but not least, we have Andy Tower. And Andy Tower, because of not only L'Air de Zé Moroccan Noir Elixir, but also because Andy Tower released or re-released the 2 fragrances that were part of the now long discontinued Tower Veiled perfumes. Rose Flash and Vanilla Flash. I actually do have Vanilla Flash, but now they are called Rose Absolue and Vanille Absolue. Now, I love Rose Absolue, and it feels a bit different. In fact, it feels a bit different from what I remember, because before Rose Flash was more jammy, more sweet. This is more true to the rose, although it still has that jammy sweetness, but the rose feels more authentic, and it's just brilliant. I love that fragrance. In fact, Rose Absolue and L'Air de Zé Moroccan Noir, for me, are the 2 best releases of Andy Tower. A bit edging more into the LDDM Noir, but Rose Absolue is also fantastic. Not a big fan of Vanilla Flash, at least not for now. I tried already a couple of times, and I have Vanilla Flash, and I do think that Vanilla Flash is superior. I think the vanilla in Vanilla Flash is superior, but maybe because I already have that fragrance for a few years now, maybe oxidated and the vanilla got more intense and strong. Whilst in the Vanilla Absolute, it's more soft, more tamed, so really not a big fan, or at least I was not impressed with Vanilla Absolute. But Andy Tower definitely deserves to be in this category as fragrance brand of the year. And the winner, to me, is Les Indemodables. Les Indemodables, just because the quality of the ingredients is unmatched to me. And currently, it's really hard to compete with Les Indemodables in terms of the quality of their ingredients. They might not be the most unique brand out there, the most avant-garde brand out there, but they deliver. Constantly deliver. Each year they deliver with a stunning release. They just released 1 fragrance per year, 2 fragrances per year, but they deliver. And they might be pricey or even overpriced, but they are worth it. To me, they are worth it and well deserved to be fragrance brand of the year, Les Indemodables. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this concept, a bit different. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this category, with the nominees. Let me know what you would change. And if you really like this concept, I definitely will do the same by the end of this year. See you next time. Take care, guys.